All right. Hello and welcome to Virtual Coffee Hacktoberfest edition. Virtual Coffee's mission is to become a welcoming tech community that allows room for growth and mentorship at all levels and to create meaningful opportunities for learning, leadership, and contribution for everyone. To find out our code of conduct, events, or learn more, you can check out our site, virtualcoffee.io. Okay, I am Dan, maintainer here at Virtual Coffee, and this is our Hacktoberfest kickoff. So we have the Virtual Coffee Hacktoberfest Initiative, or VCHI, if you want to shorten things. And we've been doing this this is our third year doing this with Virtual Coffee. So just a quick thing about Hacktoberfest. Hacktoberfest is an event run by a company called DigitalOcean. They've been doing that for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years, something like that. And the goal of that is to get people into open source and to encourage people to contribute and help maintainers get their repositories all set up, just everything about open source. And it's really fun. And a few years ago when Virtual Coffee was sort of in its, I don't know, first phase, I suppose, a few of us got together and decided like we wanted to help our Virtual Coffee members complete the Hacktoberfest challenge that DigitalOcean did. And so and thus VCHI was born. And so every year we come up with an issue that everybody in all Virtual Coffee members can complete. We can do it together, and then you are one pull request on your way towards your four pull request goal for Hacktoberfest. And so that's what we're doing here. We're going to walk through completing the issue. If anybody doesn't have time or can't stay the whole time, whatever, it's you have the whole month to complete it, so it's no big deal. But it should be pretty quick. It's straightforward. We can get through this pretty easily. So without any further nonsense from me, well, I guess I'm going to stop real quick. Does anybody have any questions about Hacktoberfest or what we're doing or who I am or any general questions? We'll get into the specifics here in a second, but just wanted to pause real quick to see if anybody has questions. If not yet, Nick, go ahead.
Where can I buy that jacket?
I got this jacket online somewhere on Amazon. I can send you the link if you want. I searched for David S. Pumpkins outfit and it came up. So David S. Pumpkins, if you have not familiar with that, is a Saturday Night Live sketch from a few years ago and is one of my favorite things. It's Tom Hanks and it's just like one of my most favorite, I don't know, YouTube videos ever. It's just very good fun and happy, and yes. It's amazing. Kirk says it's cursed, but it's whatever the reverse of cursed is. It's amazing. And so if there's no other questions, yes, Becca, thank you. She posted the link there. I really thought about
just real quick, I also posted the link to IU's blog post for Hacktoberfest. So it gives more insight into what we've done at Virtual Coffee and an overview of the things that we're doing this year. So shout out to IU for getting that up so quickly.
Yes, thank you. And that's a good point. Thank you, Becca. Thank you for the reminder. I wanted to shout out IU and Dominic, who both have done a bunch of work preparing this year for Hacktoberfest for Virtual Coffee. It's really been awesome. They've put a ton of thought and effort into it, helping us get ready. They have a Virtual Coffee, what is it, like a Hacktoberfest prep repo that they put up together for last month to help people kind of practice and get ready, and also to collect some repositories that we have sort of approved for, that we've gone through, I guess, the guidelines. Actually, we could pause. Ayu, do you want to, or Dominic, do you want to just very quickly summarize like what we did, what you guys did with the Preptember initiative? I can see you both here.
Again, also, I'll drop the link to the podcast episode that Dominic and IU did, where they talk through some of the things that they've been working on.
Okay, well, if you're both busy, that's okay. But like they've just done a lot of work and it's really cool. So I just want to say thank you to both of you. And once we still need to merge it in, but once our monthly challenge page is up for this month, there's going to be a list of nice repositories that are ready for Hacktoberfest contributions. So you guys can check that out. when it's time. I meant to merge that this morning and well, ran out of time preparing for this. So we'll get it merged in. Maybe we can just do that later on this call. Okay, if there's not any other announcements or questions, we can get started. So here, let me share my screen and we'll get going here. So here we go. Okay, so let me open. I wanted to open the Hacktoberfest.com. Okay, so if you want to do the Hacktoberfest thing, excuse me, the first thing you want to do is sign up on DigitalOcean's Hacktoberfest page, right? So this is Hacktoberfest.com. You can get there from there, and you register through GitHub, all that stuff, and they'll track their requirements through there, and you can read a lot about their thing. So I would encourage you all to do that if you haven't done that. And furthermore, if you want to keep going with this, we have a Virtual Coffee Hacktoberfest page as well. So you should do both because this is the way that we will track our members contributing to Virtual Coffee. We actually had some ideas this morning of adding a way to contribute to open source without so, this is the main track. So we have contributors, maintainers, and mentors. If you haven't signed up yet, go ahead. There's still time. Just go ahead and sign up. And then once you're in here, you will be able to track it'll track your pull requests, it'll track your profile, things like that. And I think we're also going to add a way here to, if you have made an open source contribution that's not a pull request, for us, we're going to count that sort of thing, I think. And so once we nail down the details there, we'll add a little form here too, so that you can say, I made a contribution to X, and we can track that too, because we have some different requirements than DigitalOcean for our participation. Okay, so our issue is on the virtualcoffee.io site. So this is the repository for our website. I'm going to get the chat open just a little bit so I can drop a couple links in here. Okay, so this is the repository for Virtual Coffee, and it's been going for a while, and you can see lots and lots of contributions, all of that stuff. So there's a lot of details here on running the site locally and doing things like that, which is all possible. We're not going to do any of that here today. So if you want to try to run this locally, you can follow the instructions on the README. We've done a lot of work on this, trying to make it cover everything that you might run into. We also have a contributing guide that has some more details and some more examples and things like that. So if you, on your own time, I'm not going to go over this whole thing, but if you want, there's a lot of resources on our site for contributing to our projects, and I'd suggest checking those out. Today, we are going to, yes, this browser is the Arc browser. I saw some questions in the chat about that. So I've been using it for a few months now, and I love it. It's really great. So this is Arc. Anyway, where am I? Virtualcoffee.io. And so when you want to contribute to a repository, right, you go kind of check out their issues if you don't already know what you're doing. And we only have a few issues open right now. We're going to get some more in here to populate it to help our members do the thing. But the one that we're going to contribute on today is, well, it's on the top of the list right now. It's number 995, Hacktoberfest 2023, excuse me. Add yourself to the member map. Okay, and so the prerequisite for this is adding your member profile. So if you haven't done that yet, you should do that first. And you can do this, we would all prefer, if you haven't added your profile yet, to do both of these in one pull request. I'd rather not this be two separate pull requests, since I don't know, it's kind of a related change. But what the member, so this is what drives our Virtual Coffee, our member page, right? So this thing gets populated with data from those member profile files, and I'll show you those in a second. But this is our member page. It's got all of our members, and you can add, links to your stuff, your website, and we also have these little badges. So this little pumpkin badge right now was the only one that used to be there, right? So this was the Hacktoberfest 2022 contributor badge. We have a new badge this year for Hacktoberfest 2023 as well. So we'll get in there. But this is that data is the data that drives this page. And so the the profile pages look a lot, or I mean, sorry, the profile files look like this, right? So let's look at Bogdan's, right? So there's this is what a profile page looks like. And I'm sorry, I keep saying page, but profile file. It's very simple. Really, the bare minimum you need to do is create a new one with your GitHub username as the name of the file, and then add your GitHub profile name to like this export const and the name. There is an example file in here, so you can just copy it. Let's see, example. I should get a way to get this to the top, but it's buried. But so this is like underscore example. So what you do is create a new file with your GitHub username .ts, and then paste this stuff in, and then update these things. So this is the only required field, and then there's some optional fields with comments. So you can, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but there's a lot of details about that in the issue, in issue 13, and that's here. And so you can go ahead and do that as part of this thing. And then for this year, our new feature is we are creating a map of all of our members, and so that people can like see, I don't know, we have members all over the world. And so we want to represent that somehow. And also for our members, you know, maybe be able to find out who lives near an area, things like that. So, you know, there are some privacy concerns with locations, right? And so what I'm going to have you do, and this is all listed out in this issue, but this is all based on latitude and longitude. And the most straightforward way to do this is going to be to like go to a site like this, right? You can find latitude and longitude in Google Maps or lots of things like that. But this site, I just found the site by Googling, but you can just put in a place name and it will find the latitude and longitude. And so you can be as specific or vague as you like, right? You do have to do a place name, and it can't be just like a region. Like I can't do Northeast Ohio, you know, but I live specifically, you know, in Lakewood, Ohio. So I could do Lakewood, Ohio, and it will find the latitude and longitude for that. And this is just like, it's dropping a pin somewhere in the middle of Lakewood. You know, I can do Ohio if I wanted to, that'd be fine. And I think that it just drops a pin right in the middle of Ohio, which is great. I probably could just do United States. See what happens there. Well, that one didn't quite work. Add the country code. All right, let's do US. All right, maybe that one isn't quite good enough. But if you want to be that vague, what you could do, I don't know, is the United States one of the,
I think
no,
you're
no.
probably,
quota.
you see the, yeah, the red.
Oh, am I hitting the quote? Great.
Get on a VPN and just switch your IP.
There's yeah, I've been hitting this a bunch today because of this thing. So there's a million ways to, I'm just gonna go to Google Maps so you can do the same thing, right? All right, let's see what happens if I just type in United States. It doesn't really give me a thing, but like, yeah, I can just like right click, I think, anywhere, and you can copy the latitude longitude. Okay. So basically share is, well, don't put your full address in, please. But like, other than that, like you can be as detailed or vague as you like, and that is totally cool. I'm not going to be checking anybody's latitude and longitudes. So I don't know if anybody has any other privacy like concerns, please just like reach out, or just don't do it, and we can find something else that works for you. But I think that I would, thinking through this, I think this can be fine. So you can just like, if you just want to say, I'm from the United States, I don't know, just drop a pin somewhere, grab the latitude and longitude, and do that. All right, so once you have your latitude and longitude, we're going to create a location object in that profile, and that's where we'll paste in latitude and longitude. And then this title is optional, but like this is where you can be like United States or Ohio or Lakewood, Ohio, or And that title will show up in the pin. So we'll see that in a second. And to make this a little more streamlined and a little more, I don't know, avoiding a lot of issues with command lines and things like that, we're going to run this entire thing through the GitHub UI, which I want to stress is a totally valid and good way to do open source contributions. I think you might get some people that their initial instinct is to sneer at something like this, like, oh, I just used the command line, all that stuff. But like, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's really great way to make quick changes, things like that. And so what you can do is, all right, I should have deleted my, let's see if I can, I'm going to delete my, so I have an existing fork. I'm just going to delete it so we can start. All right, this is Daniel. Right? Delete Daniel. Yeah, all right, cool. I understand. I'm typing this stuff and I'm authenticating, I bet. Maybe. All right, nobody look at my password. Nobody look at my fingerprint. Did it work? It didn't work. This is great. There we go. Cool. Okay. So now I do not have a fork for Virtual Coffee. If you have a fork, there's a lot of nice ways to catch your fork up to date. But you don't even necessarily need to hit the fork button yet, right? So what you can do, if you have a member file, you can go and find it. If not, what you can do is add file and create one. So you find your member file or create it, right? And I want to, shoot, I should have. Yeah, sorry. This is I think I remember last year I had created like a guest user that didn't have permissions here. So what you're seeing is what you're seeing is a little bit different than what a non-maintainer sees. So let's see, what's the easiest way to get through this? I think what we're going to do is just I'm just going to fork it, and you can add you can use that edit button that I was showing you, or the add file button, and it will create a fork for you if you haven't. And it will, if you have, it will create a branch inside the fork, things like that, which is really cool. So I'm going to go through like sort of the manual version, right? And so now I have a fork, Daniel T./virtualcoffee.io. And you know, I know I talk kind of fast, so please, like, everybody drop in, you know, tell me to stop, yell, drop in chat, anything like that, if I'm going too fast, or people have gotten lost or have questions or whatever. Okay, but moving on, this is my forked version of virtualcoffee.io. And so I could do anything I want to this repository, and nobody at Virtual Coffee will ever know about it by default, right? And so going back to our member file, so we have members, and most members, so our maintainers are in the core folder. Most of the people will be in the members folder. And so here is my file, and I want to edit this file. So I hit that, I'm sorry, I know that went fast. I hit that pencil button, right? It said edit in place, things like that. There's lots of other options. You can check this out locally and make the changes in VS Code. You can do it anything you want. But this works great. So the first thing we want to do here, and this is in the issue too, but might as well, while you're doing this, add the Hacktoberfest 2023 badge to the badges. And then we are going to add our location object. And so what this has is latitude and longitude. And let's go back to somewhere. Am I still out of, that's probably all for the whole day, huh? All right, where's my maps? So I'm going to do Lakewood, Ohio, Google Maps. Maybe I should have just, all right, I think if you, yeah, that copies it to the clipboard, which is pretty cool. And so the first number is latitude, the second number is longitude. And these should be numbers, right? Not strings. So if you pasted something in and it's wrapped in quotes or whatever, remove the quotes. These should be numbers just like this. And then you can add a title field if you'd like, Lakewood, Ohio. And that should be it. And then you can, I guess the benefit of doing this in VS Code is you get some checking and things like that, but we're going to do this. All right. And so when you hit I hit that commit changes button, right? Big green button at the top. And now we have a commit message. So I'm going to say I added my location to my member profile. And I want to create a new branch and start a pull request. This might start a pull request in my fork. So I want to see what happens here. We can always change that. Okay, cool. And so I think that this created a pull request. I'm sorry, I really wish, I'm sorry I didn't do this. I had created a like fake user in the past and I forgot about that step. So here we go. So you can also compare across forks. This is what we want. Okay, so this link right here. So GitHub like gives you tons of help for this process and it's very, very cool. So the initial assumption for that they make is that you're like making a pull request in your own repository. But what I want to do is make a pull request to the original repository, the Virtual Coffee repository, right? And so we want this one to be Virtual Coffee. Oh, wait. No, head repository is this one. Sorry. Base repository is, I messed up. Compare across forks. This is what we want. This is what we want. Okay, so sorry. Base repository is like the original and head repository is your current one, right? And so for base repository, choose Virtual Coffee. If you're seeing the screen, right, choose the original one. And then the main branch is it should be always like selected on the default branch. If you're doing something advanced or in some other situations, maybe you want to choose a different one, but most times the one it picks is going to be the right one. And then here is the repository that is mine, right? The fork and the branch where I made my changes. And GitHub just named this for me. I could go and rename it, but it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to hit this big green button that says pull request. Okay, so linked issue is, what was that number? I have the issue tab open in a bunch of different ones. It's not 13 because 13 is the original one. It is 995. All right, so you can link to issues and comments in a lot of different ways, which is another nice feature of GitHub. So what I can do is just paste in the entire URL if I want, right? So this is the URL to that issue. And if you preview it, it will give you a nice little like formatted thing. You don't have to put like the link text in or anything like that. You can also do just the number with a number sign and that'll do the same thing. If you're going across repositories for some reason and you want to reference, you can do coffee virtual coffee.io. You can do something like that. So that has the organization name, the repo name, and then the issue number. So this is like a way to reference issues in other repositories quickly. But honestly, like just these days, just pasting the link straight in. I don't want all that formatting. So that's like an Arc thing is doing that for me. Pasting the link straight in, GitHub handles that and replaces it with a nicely readable link with a popover and all that stuff, which is cool. Okay, so this is our pull request template you're seeing in here. So there's some instructions, some helps, some links to some things. For this specific issue, so a lot of our contributing stuff says use the closes keyword, right? So closes this issue, but we're gonna not do that here because we want everybody to complete this issue. And so when you link it with the closes issue or fixes, there's a couple other keywords that do the same thing. When the pull request gets merged, that issue gets closed automatically. It's a really handy feature for lots of things. But in this specific case, we don't want to do that. We want to leave it open. So please don't put the close keyword, but do link to it like that, which will be cool. And so there's some notes about that description. So anything that's inside these comments, right, like this gets hidden in the final, like when you submit the pull request, and you can always look at the preview. So you can see all those comments and stuff right there, which is cool. Description. So I added my name, no, my location to my profile file, latitude and longitude. this description block should be as detailed as it sort of needs to be. This is totally enough for this issue, right? If you're creating a pull request that has a lot of changes or adds a new feature, things like that, you want to get more detailed. If it's a very simple thing, you can just, one line is fine, fixed typo. That's totally fine. Like, the description, like just basically like put information in here that you think the person is going to know to approve the pull request and merge it in. To the members page on the, so Brenda's asking, is the URL to the members page on the website? It is kind of buried though right now. It's in the sidebar here of the all things virtual coffee list. So our members, that's the members page. You can also just go to /members if you're looking for it. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. But that's the members page. And oh, sorry, I'm getting a little pop-up, but I can't read it because Zoom is blocking it. Oh well. So let's go back to our pull request. Oh, that was here. Methodology. This is also like, and sometimes like it is okay to delete some of these if they're not really relevant, or you can add them, or you can just say like, fix the code or something. But what I did was looked up my platform on Google Maps and then pasted it in while everyone watched. Okay, code of conduct, leave that there. And then you can say, and then there's this box that says allow edits by maintainers. I would almost always leave this checked. I can't think of like too many times where it made sense to uncheck this. That lets maintainers go in and make a little tweak if they see a tweak without having to go through the whole thing, or make a fix. Or sometimes like I have specified an exact fix and then it turned out I was wrong, and so I'll just go in and tweak a thing. But I like, please just leave this checked unless there's some really, really good reason. But then after that, you can just hit create pull request, and that is pretty much the whole thing. Now we're done. So with our site is hosted on Netlify, and pull requests do automatic pull request builds, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, well, you know what? This will probably work with the maps thing, but we'll see. But you can see if you scroll down a little bit more, you're not going to see all of this if you're not a maintainer, but you're going to see some of this, and you will see the deploy preview building, and this says pending, and so you're going to just kind of hang out. But what is this doing is building a specific URL for your pull request for the site. And so once this is done building, what we can do is look at what the site is going to look like once it's all built. And where did my stuff go? I don't really know where it went. Okay, cool. Well, it's all gone. Usually when it finishes, you can see it here. Oh, there we go. Sorry, it was just like loading. And once this turns green, this details button will link directly to the built thing. And so we're going to do that and check it out. And that this way you should be able to also check out your change to make sure it worked, make sure the pin is dropping where it is. Right now, the map itself is, well, right now, before this is merged, it's broken because there's nobody that has any, locations yet. But once we have at least one, so once this finishes building, I'm going to be able to check out what the map looks like with my pin on it and see what's up. All right, Tammy is asking, is the members page only for Hacktoberfest or this year around for others of you? The members page itself and this map, once it's done, will be there all the time forever. And so we have members adding their member profile all year round, and all year long, and it's good. So anytime we have a new member jump in, we always encourage them to go add themselves to the members page. Okay, cool. So let's check out our deploy preview. So I like basically opened this in a new tab, and this opens the site in a new tab, which is great. But you can see the URL for this is deploy preview 997 Virtual Coffee IO. So this is like its own special URL that's only going to be around for while we are working on the pull request. But the entire site should be pretty well working, and we can check things out. So here's our members page. We're going to check this out. And so the first time these build, lots of times it'll take a second because of caching. So here's our, now I might tweak this some more, but here's our like 2023 Hacktoberfest contributor badge. So that worked. It's a little ghost. I don't know how, like, this is why I want to fix it, because the ghost doesn't look, it's not showing up that well at small sizes, but it's a ghost. And then, so the map page is not linked right now because, like I said, it was broken, and I didn't really want to link it until we had a good handful of people submit their locations. But if we, what you can do is go to /map and no, invalid object. Okay. Well, I was doing this morning, so I'm going to fix this map up situation up and see what's up. And maybe we can do that while we all hang out. But I'll figure out what's going on with that. But this shouldn't stop you from making your pull request, and won't stop me from merging it. I'm curious to see what the deal is here. But again, like this isn't you guys, and it's not required. This thing working is not required for this to work. I imagine I just typoed something somewhere in my pull request. So let's go see what is up with that. This one is going to be hard for me to figure out without doing a local install, but I could probably figure that out. So that is, it was kind of a letdown at the end, but that is pretty much the whole process. And so once here, let me open a private window. And so once you GitHub, Virtual Coffee, once you submit your pull request, it'll show up in these pull request list here. So this is like the one I just did. And everybody else's should show up here as well. And you can always push more changes up if you think that you made a mistake. One thing that could happen, and might, if the issue is that I really did do I wonder if so I didn't test it with Google Maps. No, it should work. Sorry, my brain is like running on trying to figure out what's going on with this issue. But one thing that might happen, right, is that we see an issue with the code somehow. And when we do that, we will, if I see an issue with a pull request as maintainer, what I will do is usually put a comment in the pull request and request changes. And so when we do that, you'll get a notification that, changes were requested. And you can go through that process. If that happens, what you do is hopefully fix whatever change it was, and then push to the same branch, and the pull request will update automatically. And if there's not problems, then what happens is we merge it and we move on with our lives, which is really cool. So that's pretty much the whole process. Does anybody have any questions? My brain is really having a hard time thinking about anything besides fixing what's going on with that map situation. Is there anything anybody wants to look at or talk about? Yeah, Nick, go ahead.
No, it's not about your jacket this time. No, I was just gonna say the error you're getting, that could be an interesting issue for unforeseen issue, but could be an interesting issue for people to look into, maybe, or pair
possibly on. Yeah, like the problem is it won't see it on production, and it might be a problem with my I'm not sure what the problem is, right? But what we can do while we all hang out is I can try to debug it and see what's going on. Let me see.
Is it an API key or something?
No, yeah. So Ryan put in a link. This is where that error is happening. And I'm really just wondering if I did a typo in my pull request, honestly. Okay.
Oh, you wrote latitude, not latitude.
This is in the production code. Awesome.
I'm surprised that got didn't get caught because it's in TypeScript, unless there's no types for that.
Oh, you know
particular thing.
why? I bet is because I probably mistyped it literally everywhere. That would be my that'd be my guess.
It's okay. I vote to change latitude to latitude.
Latitude.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that the component's lazy loaded and it might not be type checked.
No, it's, I mean, like, see, look, I did it here too. This was my like test version before, right? No, the problem, here's what happened. And this is actually a downside to TypeScript that I never really thought about before. Well, it's not TypeScript so much as autocomplete is so here's our type file, right? No, members, types. Yeah. And I put the type in first, right? The location here, and then let things autocomplete after that. And there's where I misspelled it. That's great. Okay. So go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say you could show people who might be newer to TypeScript. If you just rename that, it'll apply it everywhere.
Right here.
Yeah, if you just press F2 or right click, refactor, rename.
Whoa! After I fix it, or before I fix it?
Like
No,
you're in. Yeah, if you say rename symbol, and just put latitude, and you should see it change it in literally every file.
No. Oh, that's right.
There's 2 files. It looks like it changed.
This one was gone. Didn't know that. Latitude.
Yeah, it's one of, I mean, TypeScript's a language, but a lot of things that it brings are tooling into editors.
Yeah, but it's more an editor thing than a TypeScript thing.
Well, what TypeScript enables is that refactoring. It's not a find and replace, right? So what it's doing is renaming that symbol everywhere it's used, and you couldn't do that without TypeScript.
Well, you couldn't do that without the editor knowing the language.
Well, it's a feature enabled in the editor because it's something that, like, for people who have been using like object-oriented languages like C#, like Visual Studio Code and stuff, all these kinds of refactoring tools have been around forever. It's just they kind of brought them to front-end development.
Yeah, and you would need a typed language for it to work. Like there's nothing, if this was just JavaScript, like let me open this file. What is this?
Is that automatically going to redeploy the test environment for the PR? You do the update?
No, so we can go through syncing up your fork, which will be cool. I'm gonna let that. Well, I might as well just do it now. But real quick with TypeScript, if this was just JavaScript, right, there would be no way for this file to know that this like where I had this misspelled, right? This said latitude before, and there is literally no way for JavaScript to know that this is the same latitude as the latitude from that types file. So it's dependent on the editor knowing the language and the language being typed, I think. Anyway,
yeah,
that is where we've gotten off topic already, but that's not really a shock. Yeah. Nick, thanks for finding that. I think Nick was the one that called out the topic.
It's my contribution to society this week. There you go.
Yep, latituding. Okay, so now what happened is I made, and so I think I saw some pull requests from other people, so we can all do this together too, right? Is the production site has a new update, and we want to get that into our fork, right? So what we can do is let's see, where can I get to my? I want to go to your forked version, right? Daniel, Virtual Coffee. Right. So this is my version of this site. And there is this nice, so the branch thing is that's nice, but first there is this sync fork button that says this branch is out of date. So you can update the branch. But you're also going to have to do that in your pull request branch. So this updated the main one with main. And now what we want to do is sync fork here as well. And this should, let me see here. Did that work? Actually, yeah, cool. And so now we have the typo fix in our forked version of this site. And so if we go to our pull request here, oh, sorry. So this is the pull requests don't show up in your forked version. It shows up in the original one, since I'm requesting that this one pull mine in. But if we do that here, this should start. Yeah, so we can see it redeploying now. So we got those type of changes in. We'll let this kind of rebuild again and see if that works. Man, that thing is... Oh, Justin has his hand raised. Justin, go ahead.
Hi. Here, in your marker, the latitude longitude are swapped. So longitude's first. That's your error.
In my file, you mean?
Yeah.
Or everywhere? So is that something from Google Maps? How I'm trying to remember how I got that. I'm trying to remember latitude and longitude. So those are swappity do.
Oh, not this file in your in the implementation code.
Oh, awesome.
If you just swap longitude, latitude for the position parameter.
Okay. So this is in the production code, you mean, not the member profile?
Right, on 31.
And you're saying this should be a longitude and then latitude?
Yeah.
Weird. Well, we can, I believe you. Let's check this out. So this is using a React. Well, it's really using a mapping library called Leaflet, and then there's a React component on top of that. And so this is kind of cool. This isn't part of the pull request or anything, but just, to show how we're displaying the map that we will maybe eventually see if we can get these bugs ironed out. This is the components. It is kind of a cool and easy to use, hopefully, thing. So Ryan said, I posted the link to the typo, if you recall. So Ryan posted the link to the typo, but I did not read the typo. I didn't notice the typo. I was just looking at the code. So sorry, Ryan. Anyway, this is a team effort. Ryan and Nick get dual credit for finding that bug. All right, Justin, let's see what we got here for the second bug that Dan did. Which component am I initializing here? The marker one. Okay, so let's go to marker, and that has position, lat, expressions. There's no help there. Leaflet reference. Lat long. All right, and then what did I do? Latitude, longitude. No, I think that's right.
It's an object. It shouldn't matter.
No, it's an array, and I
Oh,
think.
is it a? Oh, I thought it was an object there.
Okay, you're using Leaflet.
Latitude,
For some reason, I thought
longitude.
you were using React Simple Maps.
Latitude, longitude. It would be a weird choice for somebody to do longitude and latitude, because that's just not how, I don't know. Anytime you see the notation, it's latitude first, then longitude, if you're looking at, and that's how Google Maps did it too, right? So this is latitude, that's longitude.
Is it still not working? I missed it.
No, I haven't checked yet. We were looking at that latitude longitude thing while the pull request was rebuilding. So let's see if it has finished. Yeah, it has. Okay, so that deploy preview is usually the same link. So if you had it open before, the link will stay the same, which is also handy. So you can, lots of times if it's a long going pull request, I paste the link into the comments so that people can reference it easier. But map. Nice. Okay, cool. So it worked. So this is Lakewood, Ohio. Right now it is zoomed all the way into Lakewood, Ohio, because I have this thing set to basically like set the zoom level so you can see all of the pins. And in my pull request in this one, there's only just mine. But if we zoom all the way out, we can see it's like, yeah, it's like Ohio. And then that's it sticks my name and whatever I typed in that title field for location in there. Right. And so I don't know, that's it. So we can go, might as well just merge this while I'm looking at it. Okay, so this says merging is blocked, really big red. I'm not actually sure. If you are not a maintainer, do you see this merging is blocked in this bright red stuff? The way that we have this set up is that a maintainer needs to, in this repository, a maintainer needs to approve a pull request. So we have a couple other maintainers on the it says merging is blocked. Yeah, okay, so it says merging is blocked probably, but Alex it says merging is blocked. Does it give you the description, or is that like a maintainer level note? Just curious about that. So a maintainer,
You'll see it regardless. Yeah.
Cool. As a maintainer, I have the option of like doing this. If to like bypass this stuff. If Becca or Kirk or Julia are on and want to approve this one, we can like see how that looks. Whilst we are doing that, we can look at a couple other of these. I saw a couple in here. All right, so we got, oh no, that's fine. Yeah, we got Alex's in here. Okay, so same deal, right? Okay, so something happened here, deploy preview failed. And so when that fails, it might be because of something I've done recently. It might be because of some other issues. I'm also curious to see because I'm logged into like our Netlify stuff. So I'd be curious to know, honestly, if for Alex, if you look at your pull request and if you see this, if it failed,
Do you want yours merged in, Dan?
you can just approve it.
I approved it.
Okay, cool. So we can see here. So we couldn't build your site. Building failed. Let's see what happened here. Okay, expected. So Alex, we might have some kind of typo in your code. And so this is like, I know we did this in the GitHub UI. This is like another nice thing about it. If you're doing code, I'm usually going to check things out locally so that I have
Alex has latitude.
code.
Alex has latitude.
Yeah, I'm sure. And everybody's going to have unless you have updated, gonna have to fix that stuff up too. Sorry about that.
So he has two arrays with one element instead of one array with two elements or badges.
Yeah. So thank you, Justin. So let's check out. So as a maintainer, so this is what I'm going to do as a maintainer, right? So I saw that issue. I mean, I saw that the deploy broke. I kind of checked out what the error said. I'm going to look at Alex's file, and I can see here. Okay, so badges is like this, right? And what I want is one array with two strings. And so a nice thing that I can do that GitHub lets me do is I I hit this plus button, right? And if I saw an issue with like multiple things, I can highlight multiple issues or multiple lines. In this case, it's just the one line. And then I can hit this little add a suggestion button. And I can fix the code in line and say, looks like we need to fix up the syntax here and start a review. And then what that does is like actually like throws in a little diff view with the suggestion. And then I'm going to finish my review and say, oh, and we want to, sorry, let me, and let's go change this to latitude. So sorry, Alex, to pick on you, but like this is a nice like this is what I do this a lot, both for. I almost said the wrong one. Latitude.
Probably
okay.
also format it.
Prettier will format it after we merge it, but that's fine. I'm not like this is like one of the nice things about that tooling is I'm never going to talk about formatting in a pull request review. But what I say is, okay, I have some changes. So thank you, Alex. A couple small tweaks for you, something like that, right? And then submit review, request changes. And so Alex will get a notification with this comment and these fixes here. And he'll also, so when you're looking at your own pull request, you get these buttons that say, like commit suggestions. So you could, like, if the suggestion, comment has the entire fix, Alex can do this with one click here, which is cool. If not, or this says it can't be applied, so there might be something weird going on. And in that case, you can just go edit the file
The
and push it up.
comma.
What?
You forgot the comma between Hacktoberfest 2022 and 2023.
You guys are on top of everything. It's really awesome. There we go. So Alex, ignore what I said. No, just kidding. But anyway, I don't think that's like, I think this is because I'm not the person, like I did the review, so that I don't get these actions. But
I want to see the map with 2 locations.
but the idea here is when he fixes it, so either by using these buttons or by pushing up, he can just hit this resolve conversation button and this whole thing goes away. And I know as a maintainer, and then like when he's done, he can request a review again. And so again, this is my, like, I can't do this myself, but like there's a request review button, right? And so when you've fixed all everything you need to be fixed, you can request review and I'll know that it's ready to be reviewed again. If you had some questions about it, you can, like, there's a little, this like threads discussions inside, like, about this change, which is really nice. So it doesn't muck up the entire description for the pull request. And so I use this review stuff. I use it for open source. I use it for work a lot. It's really nice set of tools. Okay, and so, oh, Jessica said he pushed changes before my review, and so that's why the suggestion is disabled. So that makes sense because Alex has already fixed the issue, and my suggestion is now outdated. Let me refresh this and see what we're looking at now. Alex said, "Thanks, I fixed it," which is great. Files changed. And so if I look at the conversation, I think that it's automatically going to, yeah, see, it's already marking those outdated. I don't know if Alex did that or not, or sometimes when the code changed that was about the suggestion, it'll do that for you. Alex resolved them himself because he's awesome, which is cool. I can do that as a maintainer if I want to. And so now we're looking at, looks like it is all fixed up, which is cool. And we can, anytime there's changes, oh, see, it's already built, which is awesome. That means Alex was way, way, way ahead of me. So let's see. So this is, again, only going to have one. But as soon as we get a couple merged in. But this is what I'll do as maintainer is I'll go, like, I'll look at the code. Okay. Oh, because is this out of date? I don't care. I'm just gonna merge it. That probably doesn't have the updated code that we did from before, which is just fine. So I'm going to say looks great. Let's see here. Approve, right? And once it's approved, it's allowed to be merged, which is cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and merge it. And while we're doing that, I can look. So Becca approved my profile thing. So it's approved. It's all good. I can merge mine into. And let's go see if oh yeah, sure. So this is my fork branch. So you can set this, like, if you are committing to, like, if you're often contributing to a repository, you can change a setting in your fork of it. Oh, so this is doing the head branch. Oh, so this is saying I can also delete the fork. So that's cool. I'm going to delete the branch. You can change that setting so you can do it automatically if you want, but whatever. And now our site is redeploying. Let's see if we can get, hopefully I don't think I'm going to expose anything here. Might be a little sketchy. Starting up, yeah, so it's building. I used to have a badge at some point on the README, but It's still there. Oh no, it is still there. So you can, when you see a change merged, if you're really excited to see the change live, you can go to the repo root or the README file, and this thing is live. It doesn't, I don't think it updates like on its own. So you just kind of have to keep refreshing it. Yes, so Alex was asking if Hacktoberfest accepted. Yes, so it doesn't because, well, I'm gonna have to double check about that, but I will make sure everything is solid for that. I don't remember. So we have the Hacktoberfest label on the repository, and so because of that, that handles all of the pull requests. The issue itself doesn't need any sort of mention of Hacktoberfest at all. If the repository didn't have the Hacktoberfest, like, what do you call this? It's not called a tag, a topic. Then the pull request itself can add the Hacktoberfest-accepted label, and that covers it as well. Somebody has their hand up and I can't. Kirk, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, just like a little update to that. Everything you said was correct, Dan. But also, if you submit a PR, but for some reason or another, it doesn't have a chance to be reviewed before the end of the month, putting the Hacktoberfest accepted label on it will also get counted whenever it does get reviewed, right? So like, as long as you get the PR in before the end of the month, then you should be okay. Just a little note, because that usually comes up when folks ask about it. You know, and sometimes
Totally.
might just have a lot of things to review and they haven't gotten to it. And you're like, oh no, will my stuff get in? But you can just see if they put that little label up and it should be okay.
All right, we're getting some latitude. I assume one of these didn't had my typo from, that was like totally my fault from before. Yeah, there is. Okay. So we're gonna fix James's. I'm just gonna fix it real quick. And we'll get it rebuilt. So that was James. I mean, if you're still here, that was totally my bad. We just have the same typo in another one that somebody merged in, and we'll fix it up real quick. Where are we? Members. James. Yeah, sorry, Julia. I was asking for approvals, not merging. So that's a nice way to, if you have multiple maintainers on a project, that's a nice way to add some checks, right? So I can override it, but I, as a maintainer, am not really supposed to approve my own pull requests, right? And we're going to change this to James, sure, something like that. I'm going to commit. So again, there's rules in place that I'm not supposed to do this. I'm going to do it anyway. Don't tell anybody. Be just a secret between you and me and YouTube. But now we have hopefully fixed that, and hopefully we can see our map. So like getting you guys through submitting a pull request was my goal for this thing. Having the map up was a bonus. So hopefully we can, we'll see if that's built. No, Kirk, don't tell anybody. This is what we just said. Kirk. Yeah, does anybody else have any other questions or anything like really this concludes the end of my Hacktoberfest kickoff for Virtual Coffee. Let's wait. I'm gonna talk for a little bit, see if we can get through this, get this built. After this, I think we're going to wrap up and just hang out here, or maybe we can move over to the Hacktoberfest room. I was planning on just like chilling with everybody for the rest of the afternoon. But if anybody has any questions about this process or open source, anything like that, now is a really, really good time. David asked when we can watch the recording. Well, I will post it on YouTube when it's all done. If you didn't submit the pull request right now, that's totally fine. You got a month. Go ahead and do it when you got a chance. If you run into any issues, always just like, you can file an issue, you can ask in Slack, you can ask in discussions. Our contributing guide has a bunch of stuff about where to ask for questions. We also have a really nice resource for Virtual Coffee, specifically a resource on the site about asking questions. And so I would encourage you all to check that out at some point too. we have a lot of really cool resources these days. And so I can't actually remember if we put the asking questions in developers or in where's the questions? We might have put that in the developer one. But anyway, there's a lot of cool resources here. So if you haven't looked at our resources page for a while, please go check it out. There's sort of global developer resources and then more specific virtual coffee resources. So they're all there and available. And let's see if our build has built. It has. And this is yet again another moment of, hey, there we go. There we go. Okay. And so now we have 4 people. It zoomed out to the spot. I think I had it centered, like, let's see if we can see it in the reload. Yeah, it like does a weird zoom thing. I'm not sure where it starts at the beginning, but so we got Dan over there, James over there, Alex over there, and Aishwara and in over there in India. And the more people that we add, it'll make sure it shows all of the pins at once. I was looking at I'll probably add this as a feature, maybe. There was a cool clustering plugin for this React component library, which seemed kind of cool. So it would probably put at this view all 3 of these in one little thing, and then you click on it and it expands into 3, which is kind of cool. But for right now, this is working. Once we get a few more, I'm either going to put this on the members page or link to it from the members page. But right now, and I'll put that on the issue as well. But right now, if you go to virtualcoffee.io/members/map, that's where you can go to check it out. And if there's not any other comments or questions for right now, I'm going to stop the recording and we will see all of you next time. All right. Happy Hacktoberfest, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Stop recording. Go.